Second time going live today. I went live earlier on Instagram and the sound quality was absolutely horrible. So I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to do about that live stream because you can't hear anything that I'm saying at all. And I know I'm in the car and you can hear car noises, but I've never had a video where the sound quality, where the car noises were overriding my voice. Because I'm loud. I be out here saying shit loudly. So that was odd to me, but it is what it is. I'll decide what I'm going to do. I may just put in all caps, use your headphones, but we don't know. But I wanted to discuss something else because it's a little bit of a popular item of discussion right now. And what I wanted to discuss is the fact that Satan, the entity Satan, the entity Lucifer, those two entities are part of the Christian pantheon. They are from the pantheon of Christianity. If you are not talking about Christianity, those two deities do not exist. They do not exist outside of Christianity. They are how Christian people experience the universe. They have no bearing on how anybody else experiences the universe. They have no bearing upon anyone else's actions or bearing upon what anyone else is saying. Satan and Lucifer are part of the Christian pantheon of deities. So if you are discussing a religion that is not Christianity, Satan is not in it. Satan is only in the Christian religion. So you can talk about evil, you can talk about badness or, people not practicing Christianity, but everybody who doesn't practice Christianity is not a Satanist. Because if you're not practicing Christianity, then Satan does not exist for you. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is the reason that no other religion has an equal and an opposite to the Almighty. So no other religion has a good God and a bad God. No other religion has that. In most other religions, and as I speak now, I'm speaking as an expert on traditional religions of people of color all over the globe. I am an expert on that. So that's what I'm talking about. So in none of these religions is there a bad opposer to God. And when I say God, I mean the ultimate reality, the source of all, the being from whom everything emanates. Now, in most other traditions, there is not just one being that is seen as, the what would I call it? The designer and controller of the universe. This is a conglomerate of beings. This is a council of beings. This is a group of beings in most other traditions. And the reason that a Satan is not required, a Lucifer is not required, an oppositional force that is completely negative and that we are all supposed to be fighting against. The reason that that is not required in any other tradition is because every deity is creator and destroyer. Every being, human beings, animals, plants, gemstones, everything that exists is creative and destructive. Everything that exists is positive and negative. Everything that exists is safe and dangerous. So because there is an understanding and an acknowledgement that negativity is a necessary part of anything that is in existence, then there is not a need to say that all negativity comes from one source. And we must run from this source, and we must fear this source, and we must protect ourselves from this source, and we must, anything negative that we are doing, this source is what is to blame for it. There's no need to do that in any other tradition, because every other tradition acknowledges that I have the capacity to do positive things, and I have the capacity to do negative things. I have the capacity to be helpful, and I have the capacity to be harmful. It depends upon the situation that I'm presented with, which side of that I'm going to find myself on. But I have the capacity to do it all. So, me as a human being, I have the capacity to do it all, and the deities, the cosmic forces, have the capacity to do it all. They have the capacity to destroy, they have the capacity to create. Let's talk about, I'm going to just give an example. Let's talk about Oya. Oya is the Anago term for the energy of natural disasters, specifically tornadoes and cyclones and water spouts. That's spinning, very dangerous wind energy, Oya. And so Oya can be looked upon as a force of destruction while being that, and while being something that we have to protect ourselves from, and that we have to not get too close to, and that we have to be aware of and keep ourselves safe from. Oya is at the same time the mother of nine. Oya is at the same time our intercessor between our conversations with the ancestors. Oya is at the same time grace and beauty, and the divinity in movement, in a way of moving your body. Oya is at the same time our breath, and how that breath regulates our emotion and the liquids within our bodies, the elixirs within our bodies that we call hormones. Oya is how that breath regulates that. So while she is a supreme destructress divine, she is also a supreme creatrix and lover and helper, and what would we call her? Nurturer. She is both of those things at the same time. And we do not pay homage to her creative side and pretend that her destructive side does not exist. That is not being real. That is not dealing with reality. That is not looking life in the face and calling it what it is. So that is why we don't require a Satan. Why would there be a Satan? Every being, every deity, and every living thing and moving thing and thing that exists is positive and negative. If you've taken any class with me, you've heard me say it is every woman's birthright to be loving and caring and compassionate and nurturing, and to also be a dangerous, hectic, unreasonable bitch. That's every woman that you know. And by rights, and because we give birth to everyone else, that's everything that you know, right? It's wonderful, magical, good, and kind, and a horrible, terrible, antagonistic bitch. That's everything. Everything has both of those sides. So a Satan is not required. I myself have a side that does stuff that I ain't got no business doing. Everybody does. I ain't got to blame that on nobody. That's me. That's me that be out here doing shit I ain't got no business doing. Now, I can choose not to do that stuff as much. I can mature and see that those things don't tend to serve my greatest good or the greatest good of the people who I'm responsible for. Or I can be 60, 70 years old and still out here doing shit that I ain't got no business doing. That is my choice. It's me. I have the capacity to do that. That ain't nobody else's problem but mine. That's my issue. That's something I need to work on. Ain't no deity I get to put that off on. and say, well, this right here, the father of lies is who made me do this. No, I be lying. If I'm lying, it's because I lied. It ain't got shit to do with no the deity that's the father of lies, right? And it doesn't have to. And if I can blame it on a deity and say the devil made me do it, then there's no responsibility on my part to change the behavior. There's no responsibility on my part to acknowledge the parts of my personality that make me do problematic things. There's no accountability. And there's no point when I say, oh, let me stop doing this. This is hurting people. This is harming people. This is creating a less than peaceful environment around me. Let me stop doing this. If I can pass it over to the devil and say the devil made me do it and then ask for forgiveness, then what is the impetus that's going to help me to change my behavior? Why would I ever change my behavior if it's the devil that's doing it and not me? So no, there's no ancient religion that has Satan in it or even any being similar to Satan. Every entity in every ancient tradition of people of color, for whom I am an expert, so that's all I can speak for, acknowledges that everything that is, everything that exists, is all good and all bad. And it depends upon the circumstances, which side of that spectrum you decide to act from. That is the truth of the matter. So Satan is not required. Every deity is the divine creatrix and the divine destructress. All right. Just wanted to say that. I hope that I'm able to be heard. I haven't seen anything in the chat. So I haven't seen anything that says that I'm not able to be heard. So that is it for now. I pray that the rest of your day is good. Ecstasy, abundance, and bliss. To all of those within the sound of my voice who are wishing the same for me and mine. And the lessons of life and the bottom of the whale. If you took my class last night, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The lessons of life and the bottom of the well to those who are wishing us otherwise.